The autopsy report indicates a homicide, but no criminal charges will be filed. 17-year-old Cedric Lofton died in custody at a Kansas juvenile detention center. This body cam video, newly released by police, shows officers taking Lofton into custody after being called to a house in Wichita. Lofton's foster father said the teen was having a mental breakdown, according to the county's autopsy report.
We're here to help you. Why are you fighting us?
The officers originally planned to take Lofton to a behavioral health unit.
Stop! Do not do it again!
Knee me in the face.
You're about to go to actual jail.
But when he became aggressive, officers put him in a wrap restraint and rerouted to the juvenile detention center. Once there, officers laid him in the prone position, face down, to remove the restraint.
Yeah, so we can lay him face down so that we can get
The released footage ends here. But according to the autopsy report, there was an altercation between Lofton and staff members at the detention center. We don't see this on video, but the autopsy says staff then restrained the teen with handcuffs and put him face down in the prone position again. Then the video picks back up. Lofton no longer had a pulse, and staff are seen performing CPR. Lofton pronounced dead at the hospital 2 days later. The autopsy, citing cause of death, complications of cardiopulmonary arrest sustained after physical struggle. We spoke with Lofton's family attorney.
Well, the Lofton family is devastated. You've got a 17-year-old, unarmed black teenager, and while suffering a mental health crisis, is taken into custody.
The DA's report, citing the stand your ground law.
What are the legal grounds typically for the stand your ground argument, and how does it apply here?
All stand your ground does is create a force bubble around somebody as they walk around in the world, so that if they're lawfully standing somewhere and they're attacked, they don't have a duty to retreat before using force. In this case, you have a juvenile being detained. Now, they have to use force in order to detain him. And if he's being aggressive and allegedly attacking them, then they, lawfully being where they are, would have the right to use force to restrain him or eventually subdue him.
Subdued, in Lofton's case, ultimately resulted in unconsciousness. The family's attorney taking particular issue with the fact Lofton was unarmed and that this case surrounds a mental health call.
He was not posing a threat to the officials, and they put him in a deadly prone position for several minutes. Cedric was having some type of mental health breakdown, and while in the care and custody of officials that are supposed to protect individuals, these officials literally took Cedric Lofton's breath away.
We reached out to the DA to ask for clarity about the homicide indication in the autopsy and his decision not to charge. He told us in an email, the determination that the manner of death was homicide does not reflect a legal determination on the part of the pathologist regarding the viability of criminal charges. He referred us to this section of his report about his determination for stand your ground, which reads that Cedric continued to resist for some 30 minutes meant the staff could continue to lawfully apply restraint. This argument is interpreted differently state by state.
It could be that stand your ground has outlived its usefulness, especially given that we're a society that turns quickly to violence in a snap.
So, Maura, what is the future of Stand Your Ground, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the DA's decision-making here and the DA sort of leaning on this?
Well, Hallie, first off, I'm definitely not a lawyer, right? I'm a journalist, and thank goodness we've got Danny Savalas in these situations. But unfortunately, we've covered a lot of these cases in the last couple of years. And in our reporting, basically, stand your ground is something that varies state by state, but it does exist in a lot of states across the country. If you look at this map that we've got, and there is precedent in Florida, for example, with Trayvon Martin, or in Oklahoma, where this is a very strong argument. And so that's why the DA is leaning on it, because in Kansas, in fact, it's actually one of the strongest states in which stand your ground can be used. And so when you're evaluating use of force with police officers or officials like we're seeing in this juvenile detention center, whether it goes down to state law versus police policies are the big things that are going to be evaluated. But at the end of the day, if the DA has a strong case like he does in Kansas, that's probably why he's leaning on it. And now I want to take the next point. The big part of the story is around mental health, right, Hallie? And something that I found interesting in our reporting, the Treatment Advocacy Center found that people that have untreated history of mental illness are 16 times more likely to be killed by police in a police encounter, not by police, excuse me, than a normal civilian or any other civilian who might be stopped by law enforcement. And so this situation specifically really lends to the conversation we've been having in the last year or so about how, or if at all, police should be responding to mental health situations. Hallie.
Maura Barrett, thank you so much for that reporting for us here tonight on the show. Thank you.